Hi, I'm Suzy from Women's Fight News, and today I'm here with Sasha, and joining us is Stefy Bull. So thank you very much for joining us today, Stefy.
It's a pleasure.
And I just wanted to start off with saying sorry to hear about Terri and her injury. Then it was great news today that her op went well.
Yeah, I mean, devastating at the time. You couldn't write it. The last spar, the last round, literally, the probably 20 seconds left on clock. So probably last punch that would have been thrown anyway, and just. Yeah, blame Raven's head. I think we're going to blame Raven for her heart. So, yeah, it's you can sit and dwell, but I'm a strong believer that everything's happens for a reason, and I'm kind of telling my son that the reason would have been that would have gone in the fight. It's a unification. All the world's watching. It's a main event, and if that happened in the fight, you know, it could have been a lot worse circumstances. And Terri's health is paramount. And the main thing is, like you say, we've had a successful operation today, and we'll be back as good as new before you know it.
Yeah, and with the injury,
we'll set this in turns. We're going to go one question, then down to Sasha, then we're going to back up to Suzy. So don't butt in, ladies.
With this injury, I mean, obviously your job, I mean, you've got thousands of jobs in boxing, it seems, but obviously with Terri, you're, you know, her coach, her trainer. But with this injury, your job will go beyond that, really, because obviously now it's about keeping her mindset right as well, because obviously she's going to be pretty devastated that she's not fighting this weekend. So what role are you going to try and play?
Do you know what? Terri's a very bright, articulate young woman, and she understands, she knows where we're at. And she's coming in on Friday. She's coming into Bubble on Friday to support the lads, and obviously to be in and around it. And it'll be good for her. But she'll be fine. She'll be fine. It's hard this week, but it's same as boxing. Once this weekend's over, you forgot about until your next fight. You know, Matchroom are the biggest outfit in the world. It's just continuous. That show, then that show. You have your fight. Nobody's no longer talking about Natasha and Katie now. That were 2 weeks ago. It's over with, and that's how boxing works. So, like, once this weekend's out of the way, Terri will have forgot about it, and we'll be working on rehab, and we'll be just moving forward. We have to stay positive. We've got a lot riding. She's got a very exciting career ahead of her. So let's just call it's another bump in the road, and we'll get over it, kind of thing.
Yeah, because she's so young as well. So it's not like there's a massive rush, and, you know, she's going to run out of time to unify and run out of time to become undisputed.
You're 100% right. She's just 24 years old. I mean, she's only been at the game a couple of years. Remember, she only had 17 fights as a child, and she's got. So this is not where Terri's at now. It's not even a fraction of where she'll be in a few years. Not even a fraction. I've been in this game long enough. I've had the pleasure of working with Jamie McDonnell and Gavin McDonnell, and seen them grow. I can remember Jamie McDonnell 8-10 years ago sparring Josh Warrington, who wasn't even an English champion. You would never believe that Josh Warrington would have got to these heights and Jamie McDonnell got to these heights. It's just experience. It's experience. It's rounds. And it's understanding how the game processes and how fighters process and move on. And Terri's 23-year-old and a novice. And like, people still talk about the Jonas fight and Terri. But you know, when you strip that back, Terri was a 10-fight novice. And in such a fight at such magnitude, Natasha had over 100 amateur fights at world level consistency for a number of years. Terri had not even been in a hard spar, never mind a fight. Her 17 fights was as a child. She'd had 4 years out, and then she'd not even lost a round up to the Jonas fight. So she'd never even been in a fight, never even been in an hard spar. And then all of a sudden, that sprung up her, and she put in a performance like she did in a fantastic, what ended up being a fantastic spectacle. And that was delivered by a novice 23-year-old. So I'm excited. I'm just, you know, I know where it's all leading, and I think, you see me on my social media. I'm constantly banging drum for Terri, and she's a superstar. We're not even started.
I was really impressed with the last fight, because obviously she dug deep with Tasha, so she had that kind of war with Tasha, and then I like the fact she's gone on to then she went next fight, dominated Thanderz and put in such a clinical performance.
Yeah, 100%. And you did an interview, didn't you, with Katharina before the Terri fight? I think it was you, Suzy, wasn't it?
Sasha.
And what it's Sasha who did that one.
Yeah.
But great interview, and they're like, Katharina's a very good fighter, genuine world-class fighter, and Terri did what she did with one hand, not even getting out of second gear. But that was because of what happened with the Jonas fight, and she just, it just gave her the more drive, and she realised what it takes to get to the next level, what you've got to do. And Terri's a complete athlete. She's like, you see her on a social media. There's not like she's just an athlete, the ultimate athlete. I've been in and around the game, and I've been lucky enough to work with male fighters at the highest level, and I've never met anyone with a work ethic that Terri Harper has. It's just incredible, and that's what will take her to the highest of the heights. It's good to be around. She brings out the best in me as well as herself. So. But that Thanderz fight were fantastic, and we worked on, like, Katharina's got a very strong right hand over the top, but once you take that away from her, there was nothing else. And so we just constantly worked on working opposite way to where Terri would normally move, and then the fight, just by doing that little thing, just made it so simple for Terri. And it was, I can remember plain as day between rounds, and I was saying to Lee Appleyard, who were actually giving me a hand on that night, and I was like, waiting for something to happen, or waiting, and it was like, it just not happen, because it was that easy, and Terri just made it that easy by just moving opposite way. Something as simple as that, throw it out. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance, and she really set the pace, and I think it was a good fight to come back with and put in the performance that she did.
Definitely. And like you were saying before, Thanderz was a great opponent as well.
Yeah,
so she made it look easy, but she was a good, I rate Thanderz. I think she's a great fighter.
Yeah,
so.
Lovely woman, a lovely person, and I speak to her a little bit on social media. We had nothing but respect, and it was a fight that, like, the WBC had ordered it, and it was just like Terri's performance kind of surprised me, because I was expecting an harder fight, to be honest. In a nutshell, I was expecting an harder fight, and she didn't get out of second gear, to be fair. Just a shame that what happened with her hand, because I think the stoppage would have been a lot earlier. I know some people didn't think she should have been seeing it out and things like that, but when you strip it back, I don't think Terri lost 10 seconds. It was just that one-sided, and shots weren't being returned when she really hurt her, and you can hear the noise when you watch the returner with the footing body shot. And then there was nothing else returned, and Terri was just hammering, and people didn't even realise she was just doing it with one hand. But yeah, full respect to Katharina, because she dug in, and she's a good fighter. And I'd love to see her come back and be in some more big fights. It'd be interesting to see where her career goes.
And so obviously, it's unification still for Terri.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? You still want to push for Troy? Or would you?
Like I've seen a lot of things, and Terri bit a little bit on social media, didn't she? And you seen, because what people forget, it's like that girl has just trained twice a day since December for 5 months. She was main event in a massive card, going out live in a unification. She just snapped her hand, and then people are advising who Troy should fight. It's and do this and do that, almost managing Terri's career. And let's not forget what's Terri done wrong not to deserve a unification fight. She snapped her hand. Girl's injured, inch down enough than to see things on social media that all this and all that. Well, let me put everyone straight. We've got a signed contract. Terri's with the biggest promotional outfit in the world, and we're signed for a unification fight next. It's not Terri's fault that she snapped her hand, and it's also, it's out of Choi's hands. I were gutted for Choi. They were basically getting on an aeroplane to come to UK to fight in a big fight themselves, and so it's a knock-on effect. But Terri Harper's not done anything wrong here. She's had 3 world title fights in 12 months. What are you saying? Somebody else go in and take your place, Terri. What's she done wrong? It's not like she's been sat on the sidelines and not been in fights, or, you know, not deserve one. She's been fighting very good fighters since the 5th or the 6th fight. Terri picks up a little bit of negativity. It's kind of split. You're either a big Terri Harper fan or she got robbed by Jonas. There's a lot of negativity towards her for on social media, and that's why, as you'll see, and I know you're big supporters, but she's not very active on Twitter. She sticks to her Instagram, and then when she does tweet, for some reason, people seem to think it's me. But Terri's a very clever woman, very witty. She's got a great personality, and believe me, when Terri's tweeting, it's Terri Harper, not me.
Yeah, my favourite was when, I think it was last week, and she tweeted Ellie Scottney, and then everyone was like, well, that can't be Terri, that must be Stefy. And I'm thinking, why do people not think this grown woman can tweet for herself? Like, where did this all start from? What you've got to remember is we're from a little rough council estate in Doncaster, and Terri's been dragged up fighting boys, like it's the same as rest of the girls, really. But what she's prim and proper with, you know what I mean? It's like she's a professional fighter. The woman's the real deal. Like, you know, if she opens her mouth, she opens her mouth. It's not anyone else. Nobody else speaks for her. But yeah, that's social, and it's full of it, isn't it? But you know, at the end of the day, Terri's a little bit more drawn back. She don't sit on a phone tweeting all day or anything. Your guys see what she's doing. She's busy in gym, she's busy working, and she's got a little sister that she absolutely adores. She spends time with her. And Terri's training sessions are 2.5 hours by the time she's in gym, you know, and she's in twice a day. It's a full-time job. She don't sit on a phone tweeting or whatever else. She has a bit of a life as well. But Terri's actions speak in the ring, as your guys, you see that. So she's come away from, hence me sat here, by the way, doing interviews. She's just come away from interviewing for a while. She's a little bit old school, really. She just wants to concentrate on boxing, and that's it, she says. So it's hard to pin Terri down for an interview. But yeah, social media, that bit, it's all banter. Terri's got a great sense of humour. When you do get to speak to her, when you get to meet her, she's brilliant to be around, and that's why she's so likeable. And that social media is not real. It's easy just to tweet someone, have a bit of banter and stuff, but sometimes people put things that can hurt people. And, you know, we're in a modern world where there's the talk about this mental health and stuff, and things does affect us in different ways. And it were a low point. She should have been here today. This event were all about Terri Harper and the unification, and she'd had it taken away from her. And then a little bits and bobs on social media I think stuck a knife in, bless her, that's all. But she's all love, Terri. She, you know, we'll get this weekend out, Wayne. She'll be full of beans, and we'll be back in gym week after next.
No rest.
Yeah.
But I have to say, on the social media front, I have actually quite enjoyed the whole Mayer bit, the interactions with Mayer, because it's been a bit of fun. I think it's not really got nasty. It's just a bit of banter. No, and it's been quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it's but same as this. When that fight happens, it'll be fun. And it's like, I think it's the same. It's professional boxing in the UK is probably bigger than in females, is bigger than wherever it is around the world. And it seems as if there's not that many interested in America, which is a shame, because your guys know there's some great fighters over there in States, and they're not just getting out. And it's becoming massive in UK, and it's really, you know, one thing, obviously, because I brung Terri up on the small halls and done it all myself, even down to doing the world title IBO myself. One thing I've realised with women's boxing in UK is, I've been at this for years and been a promoter for years, and like what I've seen with women's boxing is mums are watching boxing, grands are watching boxing, granddads are watching boxing, and kids are watching boxing, which I've never been on my small hall shows over the years. It's just friends and family. but you've got little kids at boxing shows now with these girls, and it's fantastic. And I absolutely, it makes me so proud to see the numbers that Terri brings out. I mean, when she fought Eva Wallstrom at Sheffield Arena, like, I'm a boxing fan, and I've been in them arenas for years. I've even boxed in there many years ago myself. And when I look round and seen thousands of people screaming for Terri, and we personally sold almost 2,000 tickets, it's unreal. And that were done before Terri's profile hit. She's you know, during the pandemic, she's been in the fights that everyone's talking about, and her profile's massive. So maybe this is one of the reasons why her hands, because next time she'll be out, we'll be in a full arena with crowds. So, but it's just the development on like the females and the fans and the support. It's bringing an old new dimension. But it seems to just be here in UK. This is where the hotspot. So for Mikaela to call out Terri, it's an honour. It's, you know, Terri's showing what she's doing across the pond, so you can only take that as a compliment. There's no hate towards Mikaela whatsoever. It's good banter, and Mikaela can say what they want. They've got respect for Terri. Terri's the money fight in that division. There's no doubts about that. She's the A side, and why people calling Terri out, because, you know, she's like it's like everybody at lightweight or super lightweight wants to fight Katie, because, you know, she's the number one and she's the money fight, and it's same in that division. Terri's number one and she's the money fight. So you got to take it as an honour when other girls call you out, not disrespectful. Whereas couple of years ago, Terri were like, why does everybody want to fight me? It's like, you're the money fight, Terri. You're the main one, and she was taking it a bit personal. What now? It's all tongue in cheek, and she enjoys it.
Yeah, and where you talk about there, obviously you started on the small horses with Terri. Prior to that, obviously she had a bit of a gap, like you say, she didn't have many amateur fights. What was the reason, or what made you send her that text message? Was it because you knew Terri's talent, or you could see the rise in women's boxing?
A bit of everything. It just, you know, maybe now, and it gives me, maybe my journey in boxing is to be here, what I'm doing with Terri now, because it's the friendship, the relationship. We've got something unique and very special. It's almost like she's my daughter. Me and my wife have got our kids. My daughter's 21 and 19, very similar to Terri. So Terri's always that 11-year-old snotty-nosed kid with big eyes that when first come into gym at 11-year-old, she's still always that to me. But she was naturally gifted. She had 17 amateur fights, winning 15 as a child. One and a European silver medalist. So obviously she lost in a final, and the other one that she lost, she did avenge that. She was just like, there weren't many girls back then. Boxing, it was quite unique and not what it is now. So when you used to come at gym, Jamie McDonald had just won the world title. So when people were coming in and they see a little 12-year-old on pads and sparring, everybody used to stand and watch. So she's always had that aura about her, and we were all heartbroken when she walked away from boxing at 16-year-old. But she was so naturally gifted, as you said. There was just something about her, just something about her. And then my relationship with Matchroom, Gavin McDonald had a deal, and our good friends with Paul Reddy, who's now managing. He's actually the manager of Sandy Ryan, and he has, you know, that managing company. But I was like, Paul, what's when Katie had first got signed? I'm like, what's crack here with female boxing, Paul? And he told me the plans that they had, that Katie to be headlining stadiums and pay-per-views, and I'm like, no. And then a couple of fights happened, and we're at these shows, and Katie comes on, and crowds are just up, and I'm like, wow, this shit's real, man. Female boxing, it's like, we're a bit exciting. So me and my wife were sat at home, and this is it's like I've even put the message out. Your guys will have seen it. I was sat at home and Katie were boxing. Might have been, I'd have to look back to be precise, but it might have been a third or fourth fight or something like this. And I just text Terri, and I'm like, Terri, what you doing? Haven't you ever thought about boxing again? female boxing is going to be massive. I could make you a star, make you rich and famous, or just something cheesy or corny. And literally, within 5 minutes, she messaged straight back, and she was like, because obviously I'm Andrew. I'm always Andrew to Terri. It's like, do you know what, Andrew? I've been thinking about it for ages, and it's something I'd love to do. So that was a Saturday night. I had a coffee with her on Sunday. On Monday, she signed the contract. She probably had no idea what she was signing, bless her. And she just left me because of that. And that's because the relationship we've got. She's no need to question anything. And then that was the Sunday. And then the Monday, she was in gym. And probably all lads were wondering what were happening. I'm like, no signing here. And what was she? Just 21 years old, not laced a glove for 4 years. She was probably in and around 11 stone then. I think she'd been doing some weights with her dad and stuff. She was at university, working in chip shop. But she was always like it. She's always a gym goer. She's very athletic. And that was just crazy. And it was just as easy as that. So the message went on the Saturday. She signed the contract on the Sunday. We're in the gym Monday training. And we in 18 months or whatever it is, she's IBO champion at world. You couldn't write it. But I always like, it's like you said, you've been very supportive on social media with us and stuff. And I never stop with Terri. It's like I'm constantly banging the drum. And, you know, it's like it's like I've been constant, and I used to pester Eddie. I've got this girl, Eddie, and just give us a chance. Where one day I might get my DMs out to Eddie before we've got a deal, and I reckon I just annoyed him that much that he had to give us an opportunity. So the whole like story and scenario, how we developed, and just that message, do you want to turn pro, and like within within 3 years she beat Eva Wallstrom after 9 fights. She was a kid, 23-year-old, and it like she didn't realise what she was doing. I looked at her and I'm like, Terri, you've just won WBC world title in front of 7,000 people, mate. And like, you know what I mean? It was like, like I say, I'm the boxing fan. She's just new to all this, but we've developed, and the story, you know, we've got something very special, and you know, I love what I do with Terri, and I'm very proud of what we do. And once I've had my run with Terri, I'll be done with boxing, because I've invested so much energy, and it's mentally draining. I've got a wife and 2 daughters, and I've gave boxing my life, and they've grown just with, you know, everything's happened. So I'm going to give Terri all my energy. It's only like kind of me and her, and this is as a coach, I'll always manage and promote, because, you know, I've still got other ambitions as a manager for other fighters that I look after. But when it comes to training, it's a full-time job, and it's very draining. It's not just what you do in the gym, and then you're at home studying fighters, and you never switch off. You just, and I don't know how some of these top coaches do it when they've got 4 or 5 champions, because it drives me crazy just with Terri, never mind having a gym full of champions. But yeah, we've got something very unique, and I'm probably talking that much now, and I forgot what I was on about.
It was a great answer.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, because you mentioned about how you're training Terri and getting into the women's side of things, but obviously you've got your male fighters as well. How do you find training male and female fighters? Is there a difference, do you find? Or
I've learned since we've taken Danny on board. Danny's been doing a lot of studying with the female cycle and things like that, which is like, as you're totally ignorant to it kind of thing, because Terri's at time were the only female I'd ever worked for. So when you're getting mood swings and Terri's a little bit down, and we'd be giving it banter, then that's when the man's, you know, typical man thing, oh, she's on bloody period, you mardy son, get yourself cheered up, as we do. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of science to it, and I'm learning a lot from Danny. So I have started doing a lot of things different to the males now. So we don't go, we load up, and yeah, it's becoming to understand it. It definitely is. There's a lot more to it than training a male. Bit like we only spar 2 minutes now. I didn't at the beginning, but like she don't fight 3 minutes, so there's no need to spar 3 minutes. It's just like men won't spar 4 minutes when they only fight 3 minutes. So we've not the 3 minute sparring off now, and we only spar 2s, and that's different because the pace is different. It's an higher pace over 2 minutes. So like I'm always learning as well and trying new things. It's not, you know, you don't just come in and be regimental and do the things I develop. And like I say, I love working with Danny because now I'm working and understanding a lot more. We're doing other things. He's collecting good data, and we have seen a change where I will train or do things different with Terri coming up to a cycle and then coming off with the body change. We're getting a lot more from Terri from just before, like, you know, your sessions are not as hard and intense. So I'm getting good feedback from Danny and his data and stuff. So yeah, we don't do things same as the men what I did at the beginning, because it was just right, come on, crack on, you know. And so I'm evolving as well and learning things. So I really enjoy it. I've just got people trying to FaceTime here. I'm back.
Aside obviously from your coaching, you're obviously a manager, and you've recently signed Raven Chapman, which he seems like a really, really exciting prospect as well.
Yeah. Raven's, do you know, Raven's been a massive part of Terri's development over the last 2 years. We dropped, do you know, when Terri, I think she would just want IBO world title, and I used to get a lot of DMs for girls wanting sparring or coaches, and I'm like, we've had some and they're just not. We've gave them time and they're just not good enough, and that's not being derogatory. Some of the girls, it's like coaches just want to come and test the fight away, and some it's like just not even being a competitive spar. So somebody reached out for Raven saying, can we spar? And it was like, but when she came a couple of years ago, I was dead impressed. She came in, she did 8 rounds, and Terri got some fantastic work. And Raven travelled all the way up from down south, just got in ring and just cracked on. And there were just something about her that she got a lovely personality. I sat afterwards, I gave him a couple of hours time. A dad would come with a dad and a coach. They were full of questions, and there were just something there. And because the work were good, we invited them up again. And then when Terri fought Obanoff, we used Raven for the full training camp. And then there's just relationship blossomed, and she become Terri's regular sparring partner. But what I've seen also is Raven's development on back of that, because then Raven's training with a world champion who's super fit, which is only coming up 6 weeks before a fight. So you've got Terri in a peak time, and I've seen Raven develop, and Raven's had some great success in amateurs, but wait till you see her, you're going to be really impressed. She's not an amateur. She's not textbook hands up, elbows in, your GB, pick and poke scoring. She's a pro. She's sitting, she bends, she rolls. She's got power in either hand, and I'm dead excited. Obviously, it's a little bit different with Terri because I don't coach Raven. I only manage her, and she takes my advice on board. She's seen the job I've done with Terri, so obviously I'm honoured that she's got the trust in me and the belief. And we've got a great relationship, and I'm dead excited to get her started. And a couple of fights, I've got no problems with sticking her in with world champion. She's that good. She will be a world champion. I back my house on it. She will be a world champion. We don't know what, I think, see we're a wait because she's not used to this pro game yet, you know, with the day before weightings. So I think Raven could be a good addition at super bantamweight, and maybe featherweight. I'm just teasing where we may end up, but you know, she's got no problem sticking Raven in with anyone after the fight or two. So you know what? I'd love Raven to have a debut with Beck Connolly, because I've got so much admiration for Beck. She's a proper throwback. She's like so tough. She'd get in with anyone. She'd just come in at a few weeks' notice. But why I'd like to do it now is because she's been in with Ryan and done ever so well and gone the distance. I'm curious how Raven would go, because she's only been stopped twice against two of the best in Terri and Natasha. They're the only girls to stop her, so it'd be a good gauge for Raven. So yeah, that's a fight I'd love to have for Raven in the debut with Beck Connolly, and it'd be very interesting. So yeah, stick it out. Let's do it. Beck Connolly, Raven Chapman. Yeah, no, Beck's a lovely woman, and she came, and when she fought Terri, and I met her then and seen her a few times before. But them two fights, she's a proper old school warrior, isn't she? She's well for a fight, and Raven loves a fight. So I think it'd be good. It'd be interesting.
Beck's always up for a fight, isn't she?
Yeah, she's old school. She is. Yeah, she deserves some easier fights. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Problem you've got, if you're not, and especially with the pandemic, if you've not got a promoter backing you, then you can only take the fights that are put in front of you. And as much as Beck does deserve easier fights, but the facts are, and the truth of the matter is, if she's not got a promoter that's putting their hand in the pocket and putting her in easy fights, the only fights she can take is what gets offered. But yeah, she has my respect. She's a warrior.
And so now at the moment you're back in the bubble, because
yes,
you've got your two fighters fighting on the weekend.
Yes, big opportunities. Lee Appleyard and Jason Cunningham in fights that we're not supposed to win. So, maybe we're just here like we're at Butlins. We're just here on holiday. So, we're just see what happens on Saturday night.
They're both for titles, aren't they?
Yes, you've got Jason is. Have you lost me there? Because while we're speaking, it's Jason who's actually trying to FaceTime. Yeah, Jason, European super bantamweight, and Lee Appleyard is the English super lightweight title. So big occasion for them both.
Well, good luck to them for that. And
yes,
you never know. You say they're not meant to win, but who knows? It's boxing.
Well, yeah, that's probably me being a little bit sarcastic. It's listed boxing. You Lee's fighting Dalton, who's arguably the best prospect in, or one of the best prospects in Britain at minute. And Jason Cunningham with Gamali Afai, who's the European champion, only lost one to Gavin McDonnell, who's world class. So with the bookies and the general public, we're just routine wins, if you get me. But they've had plenty of notice. We're here to win. We're a winning team. This is what we do. So we're looking forward to it.
It's been great to chat to you, Stefy, and
pleasure.
It'd be great that you said that Terri's joining you in the bubble Friday. So
yes, Terri comes in Friday. I've just been speaking to her. Surgery was done at 10 a.m. this morning, so it's all looking good. They've not done one plate this time. I think they've done two. Maybe she didn't hit too hard with that backhand. It's we might have been here with Terri weekend. Like I said, repeating myself, we're not down. Get Terri in here this weekend, get in and around it, and then it would have been forgot about anyway, and then moving on. But there were big plans, like Terri's next fight should have been in America, and then Undisputed, we had dates, everything was mapped out. So that's what she's had taken away. But like I said, she's only 24. Her career's not even started yet. She don't even realise it, and even supporters and just what she had 12 fights. She's 24-year-old. It's like it's going to be a great journey. It's be positive, Andrew. Be positive.
And it will all happen eventually, won't it? Anyway, I'm sure all them fights are still going to happen. She's still going to achieve what she's supposed to.
It's just on pause, isn't it? I mean, the facts are, Terry's at the highest of heights now as a young, inexperienced novice fighter. Can you imagine, really, where, like, you've got, like, what's Katie, 33, 34, and then you've got Natasha, 36, 37, I think, and then you've got even down to, like, your Doosh and your Mayers, I think they're around 30-year-old. Terry's 23, 24, man. In 4 years, like, the next cycle, like the Olympians and all that'll come along, and Terry will be in the peak years of her life, probably in and around 20 fights. You know, she's going to be the one that everybody's chasing. She'll be, you know, she's got to stay positive, because she doesn't even realise that it's not even started yet. Tonight, this weekend should have been where it started, but unfortunately it's on pause. We'll reset and we'll go again.
Yeah. Stefy, best of luck for the weekend. Best of luck for Terry's recovery as well, and thanks for your time.
When you know, we'll get this in, we're gonna have a lot of time with Terry. You know, we don't know how long she's going to be out, 5-6 months possibly before she's back. So we're going to have a lot of time. We've got a lot of ideas what we're going to do. We probably will do a lot more with media, because she ain't got the stress of fights. We've got talks of even setting up a company up. Just talks at the minute, because Terry's got, you know, she's busy. Over the years, there's a lot of exciting projects on back either self. So yeah, it's all going to be good. There'll be a lot of Terri Harper for many years.
Thank you very much, Stefy.
No problem. Thank you.